Minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. We will present about solidity. Before that, what is solidity? It is good for us. Okay, I'm sure that you have run across it because solidity, one of the most widely used food additive on the market. When seeking to answer the question, it immediately takes us to meet 19th century France. First, a solid by French chemical Theodore Goblet in 1846. Solidity is a generic term to designate a variety of naturally occurring fatty compounds found in animal and plant tissue. Most of protein, fatty acid, glycerol, glycolipids, phospholipid, phosphoric acid, and triglycerides. Lecithin was originally a solid from egg yolk. Today, it is regularly extracted from cottonseed, marine sauce, milk, rapeseed, soybean, and sunflower. It is usually used as a liquid, but also can be purchased as granules.
By and large, the vast majority of lecithin use centers around its unique ability of being an excellent emulsifier. We all know that oil and water do not mix, right? When the two are placed into a solution and shaken together, the oil droplets initially spread out and appear to evenly disperse. Once the shaking stops, the oil spread from the water again. This is why lecithin is so important. When lecithin enters the equation, oil is broken down in smaller particles in a process called emulsification, making the oil droplets easier to clean or digest if eaten. This is one of the reasons why lecithin is used as an additive in processed foods, medicine, and supplements. It helps give this product a smooth and uniform appearance. Additionally, its ability to emulsify fats make it an ideal ingredient for non-stick cooking sprays and soaps.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Clarissa Hilal-Juraski. Now, I want to talk about the production and the process of soybean lecithin. As we know that lecithin is the product formed from the process of degamming. So, I will explain the flow of process of lipid refining until we get the soybean lecithin. The soybean are being extracted by the process of pressing and solvent extraction until we get crude oil and fat. Fortunately, the product is not only triacylglycerol, but it contains phospholipid, free fatty acids, carbohydrate, protein, and carotenoids. So we want to remove the phospholipid. The phospholipid are being removed by the process of degamming. Degamming process is where 1 to 3% of water are added at the temperatures of 60 to 80 degrees Celsius for 30 to 60 minutes. Then the small amounts of acids are added into the water to increase the hydrogen in phospholipid. So lastly, the counts are formed and filtering, centrifugation and modification takes place. So these phospholipids are recovered and sold as lecithin. That's all.
My name is Anis Nadira binti Baharin and I will continue on the process and production of soybean lecithin. After the refining process, the crude oil form will undergo further process to produce a more quality product of lecithin which is more suitable for the market purpose. Some of the process are: first, we can modify it enzymatically or chemically, but for the chemical modification, it is mostly used for a non-food application. For the enzymatic modification, we can use water as the enzyme, which the process is called as enzymatic hydrolysis. This technique can increase the polarity of the phospholipid and the lecithin, hence will enhance the emulsification properties of the lecithin. Next, we also can treat this crude oil using the purification technique by using the alcohol. This technique can increase the purity of the product, which is the lecithin. Lastly, we can also treat the crude oil by using the carbon dioxide, which is extracting the crude oil with the carbon dioxide, producing the de-oiled lecithin. This de-oiled lecithin will further treated with the fractionation technique using the alcohol. For example, acetone, ethanol, etc. For the fractionation technique, we can use it on a natural composition of lecithin, which is on the crude oil. We also can use it on the modified crude oil, which is the lecithin product. And lastly, this technique can also be used on the de-oil lecithin, which I have been mentioned before.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about the function of soy lecithin. As you know that lecithin can be extracted from animal and plant tissues. This yellow brownish fatty substances is widely used as emulsifier. Emulsifier is used to bind between water and fatty substances, and it is amphophilic, which means that it is hydrophilic and lipophilic. The most used lecithin nowadays are usually the phospholipids.
An emulsion is made up of a mixture of immiscible liquids. For example, this water and oil here. Immiscible liquids are ones that, after mixing, will separate out and will not stay mixed together. The oil here will float on top of the water, and after mixing, the oil droplets will float back to the top. This is due to the water molecules being polar, whilst the oil molecules are not. The water molecules act like a magnet with a small positive charge on one end and a small negative charge on the other end. Thus, all the water molecules will try to align together whilst the oil molecules are forced away. The problem for engineers is that for many of our everyday products, like mayonnaise, it is important that we can keep these immiscible liquids mixed together. Therefore, we must use an emulsifier to keep the liquids from separating. As we can see, after mixing the water and oil with an emulsifier, they will no longer separate. This is due to the special properties of the emulsifier molecule. It is a large molecule with a polar head and a non-polar tail. Therefore, the head is attracted to the water molecules, whereas the tail is not and mixes with the oil molecules. The oil droplets now will not separate out from the water molecules, and thus we have successfully created our emulsion.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I'm gonna tell you about the additional information of soy lecithin. From the previous, we can summarize that lecithin can have many different depends on its context, but for our purposes, it refers to a mixture of phospholipids and oil. Okay, the information that I'm going to tell is about the specific composition of soy lecithin itself. Varies depending on its manufacturer and it can be used, but on average, it has about 35% of soybean oil and 16% of phosphatidylcholine. What is phosphatidylcholine? Phosphatidylcholine, basically we can say that a class of phospholipid that incorporates choline as a head. Okay, we can obtain the phosphatidylcholine in egg yolk or soy milk. To make soy lecithin, soybean oil is extracted from the raw soybean by using a chemical solvent. Usually, we use lecithin as the solvent. Next, additional information of soy lecithin is the 7 most common soy lecithin side effects. The most important side effects is if you have a really serious soy allergy. So, you should avoid all the products that contain soy lecithin or any soy. Here are the main side effects of soy lecithin that you have to be aware of. The first one, gastrointestinal problem like diarrhea. Okay, so the second one is changes in weight, either you lose or you gain your weight. The third one, loss of appetite. Okay. The next, skin rashes. Next, nausea, dizziness, vomiting, and also confusion. Next, low blood pressure, which is just as dangerous as high blood pressure. The last one is blurred vision and occasional fatigue. If you choose a good soy recipe, you should have no problem with any of these side effects. To avoid any of most side effects of soy recipe, you should follow these three steps. The first one, choose soy that follows strict guidelines for CCK. Second one, ensure the soy is fermented. And the last one, check the soy is not genetically modified.
Hello, my name is Siti Aisha binti Othman. Okay, from this video, we can conclude that soy lecithin is a common ingredient in hundreds of processed foods, including cereals, pasta, bread, soy milk, and many meats. Lecithin is also available as a health supplement. Proponents claim that it can benefit the heart, brain, liver, and athletic performance. However, there are potential dangers of soy lecithin that go outweigh the possible benefits. The fact of the matter is, the foods that contain soy lecithin are most likely processed foods, such as that margarine container with a lengthy list of ingredients that have ingredients which should be more of concern. But don't be full of thinking soy lecithin is bad or good or bad. It is all about the way the soybeans are produced. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for watching this video. Bye. Assalamualaikum.